Welcome back to another episode of Confronting Evil. Tonight, we might see the return of a friendly face, or maybe even an unfriendly one. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. It's time for another episode of Confronting Evil.
When are you coming home? Elena asked her boyfriend via voice chat.
I told you when we met I work out of town a lot. I'll be home Friday evening,
Derek assured her. Promise?
I promise.
Good, because I haven't been feeling well. I'd really like you here, Elena informed him, rubbing her stomach, which felt distended and bloated, causing a burst of pain to wash over her in short waves.
Honey, get yourself a cup of hot tea and relax. It's just cramps or maybe a stomach bug. I promise, it'll be fine.
Derek reassured Elena again. I know what cramps are, and this isn't them. But you're right, rest would probably do me some good. With that, the couple wrapped up their late-night conversation with Elena eager to take Derek up on his suggestion. They'd only met a few weeks ago, but he really seemed to dote on her incessantly, and she enjoyed every minute of it. A few minutes later, Elena had ended her video call and was taking a shower, and a few minutes after that, she was relaxing in bed with a glass of wine. The pain had seemed to subside a little, and she was hoping that she could fall asleep and kick whatever this was to the curb. With a click of the lamp switch, the lights went off and bathed her room in impenetrable darkness. For a while, Elena laid there in silence, trying to quell the rising and falling pains inside of her. It wasn't until she heard intense grumbling and growling that the pain returned tenfold. Elena sat up in bed and reached for the lamp on the nightstand, but before she even could, her abdomen burst open like an overstuffed crepe. She squealed out in agony once more, then slumped over into a bloody mess in silence. The quiet washed over the room like the smell of copper, thick and tangible. It also remained until the door creaked open, about an hour or so after she had gotten off the call with her boyfriend, supposedly hours and hundreds of miles out of state. And in through the door stepped Derek, looking around the bedroom as he half expected the scene that he imbibed. With a shrug and the shake of his head, the man left with an expression of defeat. Yet another failure. What Elena never knew was that Derek was only a name the man had chosen for himself. He'd gone by many others over the ages. He'd walked the planes of existence, and even though the thing could jump from body to body like wearing a suit, it was locked into its current vessel, its true vessel. The body of a man named Sue Cash Bruce, and he used that body to walk nonchalantly back out the door in preparation to start anew. The rock music blaring from the jukebox was so loud, Seth could barely hear his sister talk, even without the encumbrance of inebriation. Still, this didn't stop Mackenzie from trying.
Hey, Dweeb, are you about ready to get out of here? I got us a lead.
What do you mean? That was sure fast. Let me guess. Another person got up and died while we were chasing our tails around.
Seth replied with a bit of slurred speech.
For your information, we haven't been chasing our tails. Just not much about this case makes any sense.
Mackenzie defended herself.
Just let me have one more drink and we can hit the road, okay? You ass.
Seth bargained.
Dude, how many have you had? Don't you think you've had enough?
Really, sis? This is like my third one.
No, bro. You had your third one like 3 hours ago. Come on. You're half in the bag. We have to get you sobered up. At least a little. Another girl across town bit the dust, and you aren't going to be any good to me if you can't even question a witness.
Let me guess. Another of Derek's girlfriends?
Seth questioned.
Yeah, Same memo, too.
And you still think it's him?
From what everyone has said and described, yeah, I still think it's Cash, or Eurydice. Why he's masquerading as an urban Casanova beats me. But you know as well as I do that he's gotta be up to something. So come on, bro. Put on your big boy pants, pay your tab, and let's bounce. This is the closest we've gotten to finding Cash. And Mom, for that matter. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to waste any time.
Fine. But you know he's gonna be one step ahead of us anyway. Any word from Jaffiel or Wallace?
Seth asked, settling his bill and putting on his jacket.
No, but I don't think Wallace still quite understands how his cell phone works, or Joffiel for that matter. And Huck and Jesse are hunting Wendigo out in the sticks. Gonna be out of service until they're done, so looks like this one is still up to me and you.
Mackenzie reasoned.
Great. What could possibly go wrong?
Seth questioned sarcastically, following his sister out the door.
Nothing, bro, because you've got the best sibling on the case. Me.
Mackenzie claimed cheerfully, climbing into the Torino and starting her up, pulling from place once Seth had buckled and heading off towards the other side of town. It had been almost a full hour by the time Seth and Mackenzie arrived at the scene of the crime, giving Seth enough time to sober up some. They knew the victim had already been removed and that this Derek person was long gone, but both felt they should look for more lead-inducing clues and possibly speak to a few neighbors and gather new information. Seth groggily meandered about Elena's old apartment, ready to flash his fake badge if anyone of authority happened to show, but no one would. Mackenzie was knocking on doors down the hall, hoping to speak to some of the other tenants, and 3 doors down, Mackenzie knocked, and a small woman named Marie answered.
Hello, my name's Detective Sienna Shaw. I want to talk to you about one of your neighbors, Elena Brown. There was a terrible accident the other night, and I was wondering if you knew where I could find her boyfriend, Derek?
Mackenzie asked her.
No. Why? Is he in any trouble?
The girl asked, obviously shaken and fearful of something.
No, I just want to ask him a few questions. You sure you don't know where he is?
Yeah, no, I really...
The girl started, but began to choke and convulse before she could finish.
Miss, are you okay?
Mackenzie asked with concern, but the girl's body dropped, causing Mackenzie to have to catch her before she hit the floor.
Seth, come quick. I need some help.
Mackenzie yelled for her brother, and Seth shortly thereafter poked his head out of the door.
What is it? What happened?
Seth questioned, watching on and confused as he approached.
I don't know. One second she was fine, and the next...
What ails the girl is intangible to you, and far beyond your help.
A low, guttural voice echoed from around the corner, one that Seth and Mackenzie recognized. It was the form of Sukash Bruce that stepped out from behind the doorframe, but the twins knew who really spoke from behind that face.
Eurydice? You? But why? How many girlfriends can Cash truly get?
Mackenzie joked through her fear.
Girlfriends? Ha! Impregnation, yes, but not like you, my Vic. So many failures, but at some point we were bound to be successful.
As Eurydice spoke, the girl began choking and gurgling up small amounts of blood, her abdomen distending. Mackenzie heard words unknown to her being spoken by her brother, and although she was happy to see a bit of fear on Eurydice's expression as well, the reason caused her own fear to swell within her.
Seth, no. Remember what Joffiel said?
The angel. So I finally got in the attention of the divine.
Eurydice said, as if he knew the angelic presence his whole life. Seth kept speaking, despite his sister's pleading. It was as if he didn't hear her at all anymore, too lost within a spellbound trance. But the incantation was working, and before Mackenzie's very eyes, a small, tentacled blue parasite phased into corporeal existence right in front of her. In that same moment, as she reached for the thing clinging to Marie, and Seth kept chanting, Eurydice began to scream out as if in pain. Mackenzie pulled the thing from the girl's abdomen, and her convulsing and bleeding immediately stopped, sending her unconscious. However, Seth did not stop chanting, and Iridus did not stop screaming, not until his form, the form of Cash, was slowly ripped apart, and Cash, not Iridus, screamed out in agony in a voice that let Mackenzie know that it was indeed Cash. In the split second that he was discombobulated, the black, ebon form of Iridus could be seen beneath, simply smiling, and despite Seth's best efforts, the body of Cash instantly reformed around him. Seth breathed heavily, but saw the same thing that Mackenzie did, and before she could protest further, and before Iridus could make his escape, Seth began chanting again, only this time using different words.
Seth, stop. What are you doing?
Mackenzie pleaded with him, knowing the spellbound work of that book would continue to taint her brother's soul even further. But Seth did not care. Seth continued on with his spell, a simple time reversal spell that could only rewind time a few seconds for any living object of choice, but it came at a great expense of energy. Still, it was working, and Cash slowly began to rip apart once more, screaming out in sheer, unabated pain.
Seth, stop! It's Cash!
Mackenzie yelled out, but Seth ignored her.
You saw him too! There!
Mackenzie said, standing up and straightening her jacket.
It's him! Now's our chance!
Seth yelled as the form of Iridus poked through once more, and once again, the beast reformed the body of Cash around itself.
Damn it!
Seth yelled, beginning his chant again.
Seth, we don't even know how to kill him! Please stop!
But he didn't. Seth completed his chant. Cash reeled in agony once more, and Iridus reformed his vessel once again. Seth grimaced with determination and tried a third time, forcing Cash's body apart at the seams. Mackenzie simply couldn't take the screaming anymore. They were supposed to help people, but not at the expense of others.
Seth, I said stop!
Mackenzie jumped up and grabbed her brother, and in that instant, without hesitation, Seth pulled back and hit his sister so hard he knocked her to the floor. Mackenzie was surprised and taken aback, but it was the look on her brother's face that scared her the most. Seth didn't look sorry. He didn't look confused. Seth wore an expression of pure, rageful malice. But once he realized what exactly he had done, he paused, and his expression softened. Iridus bellowed a hearty laugh and simply vanished into thin air, using their distraction to make his escape.
Seth, what the hell?
Kins, I'm sorry, but he got away!
Bro, I know you want to find Mom. So do I. But that was scary. That was Cash in there, and you just kept tearing him apart. I want to find Mom too, but not at the expense of my humanity.
What would you know about how I feel? What I'm going through? I'm tainted, Kins. There's an impurity in me that you can't simply wash away.
So what? Might as well trash it all the way? Is that it?
No, it's more like I might as well do something about it while I can.
Seth, listen. We need to...
Mackenzie started to speak, and Seth cut her off.
No, Mackenzie. Save your breath. What we need is two different things. You need to get her to a hospital.
Pointing down to Marie at their feet.
Let me help you with her.
He offered. Mackenzie agreed and focused on the task at hand, unsure of what else to say. And once she had placed Marie safely in the back seat of the car, Mackenzie headed back inside to erase any evidence of their being there while Seth watched over the girl in the Torino. At least, that's what she thought. But when Mackenzie returned, she found the girl at the Torino. But no Seth. Her brother was nowhere in sight.
Seth? Seth?
Mackenzie yelled for her brother and even tried to call his phone more than twice. But Seth never picked up. Mackenzie knew he wasn't in any danger, at least not from any outside force. Seth wasn't kidnapped. He left, and she knew it. It was himself that Mackenzie knew was Seth's greatest danger. She would spend hours worrying about her brother and what he might do on his own. but for the time being, she simply delivered Marie to the local hospital. The old cabin was musty and stale. The air itself had a taste of undisturbed isolation and age. It had taken a few hitchhiked rides and a bus to get there, but he knew this place would at least offer him some time alone. Seth had received the calls from his sister, but chose to ignore every single one. He did at least once text her to tell her that he was okay, and then turned the phone off. The old cabin that his father used to use for hunting was only a place he visited once, and not with his father. But the place was so obscure and off the grid, he could think of no better place. And although he didn't plan on it, Seth couldn't think of anyone else to reach out to. And in the silence of that isolated hunting cabin, Seth pressed his hands together, lowered his head, and prayed to the only divine being that he knew existed. He wasn't sure if Jophiel would be able to help him, or if she'd even answer him if she could. But he was out of options, and at the end of his rope.
You know, I told you that I could help you. Your problem, Seth, is far out of that angel of yours league. Maybe now you see the divine has abandoned you. Your sister, she can't help you, and you're losing faith in yourself. Maybe now you're ready to listen to me.
Seth turned his head and realized that Jophiel had not answered his prayer, or that it went unheard by her entirely. However, the demon that offered to help Seth with Iridus all those months ago had answered his call instead. And as Seth looked at him, his eyes were not filled with rage or disgust. In fact, Kramer could read his expression like black text in the pages of a book. Reluctance had diminished, and desperation had begun to finally set in. Seth was indeed ready to hear what Kramer had to say.
Well, it seems that Seth and Mackenzie have different ideas on how to deal with their conjoined problem. Who knows if either one will be strong enough to resolve it on their own, but you won't have to wait long to find out what happens next. Confronting Evil returns next month.
Social media can be very unpredictable, especially regarding horror content. If this content gets removed, all new content will be simultaneously presented on various websites provided in the description to this video. Make sure to follow me in other digital spaces so that you never miss out on the terror. Also, if you like this video, make sure to leave a comment and hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy what's here, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. Writing is a dream of mine, and it's all of you that make that dream come true.